Ladies and gentlemen, I may have found the poster child for the merchandise show. Today, I want to welcome to the podcast Aston Edwards, correct?
Correct.
All right, so for a little context here, I actually don't know Austin that well. We actually met in the Las Vegas airport while I was trying to get home. I actually got stuck in Vegas for a couple days during the whole outage situation, and I was going to my um, going to try to find my ride, and there, standing at the elevators, also going to get his ride, was Austin, and we got started talking a little bit, and I thought I thought he was probably like 25, 26 years old, just by the way he carried himself, the vibes you gave off, I guess, like the kids would say. And we got started talking a little bit about what we do and what's going on in his life, and I was inspired. Um, like I really wish at 18 years old I was doing what you're doing, and so yeah, let's dive into this conversation.
I
You're into
appreciate
real estate,
that.
correct?
Correct.
All right. Um, Before we get into that, I do want to get some introductory questions out of the way, just so I kind of know a little bit more about you. So, how old are you exactly?
I'm 18 years old and about 6 months to the
All
date.
right. Oh, oh, okay. Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm from Rancho Cucamonga, California.
Okay. Just grew up there, born and raised there?
Yeah, I've never left. Never
Okay.
left.
Um, Really weird question here. What's your favorite color?
Might have to go with Navy, man.
I like
Have to
it.
go with Navy. Shot in the dark there.
All right. You have a favorite sports team?
I don't know about a I don't know about a team exactly. I like playing basketball and I like playing golf. I played basketball my whole life, so that's been my
Hmm,
sport. And then recently I've got into golf a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I
nice.
look like a golfer. I don't know.
Um, Tell me a little bit more about your family. Do you have siblings?
I do. I have a younger brother. He's going into his junior year of high school. So he just turned 16 actually a couple days ago. 2 days
Hmm.
ago, 16. And
Okay.
yeah,
So are you the oldest or are you the youngest? You're
I'm
not
the
the
old.
youngest, obviously. Oh, okay. It's just you two.
Yeah, just us two. Yeah.
Good deal. What was discipline like at your household? Very disciplined household? Was it not so tight?
I mean, I wouldn't say it was very traditional discipline. It was more so like my parents kind of led by example,
Hmm.
and they weren't a hard ass. They weren't super enforcive, but I feel like that ended up, yielding a better result. Just because, in my opinion, the harder you are on kids or the more you try to enforce something, uh, I feel like it might turn them, sneaky and behind the back and things like that. So they were kind of the opposite, to be completely honest. More laid back approach with me. I never really caused problems, never got in trouble. Kind of, no, I always had my head on straight, I think, so for the most part.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
What about like do you have a lot of responsibilities growing up? A lot of chores around the household or anything like that?
I mean, for the most part, I did my fair share. I mean, I was never on like like you got to do this, this, and this, and this by 4 p.m. or else no video games. It was very informal the way I grew up, for sure.
Okay. Informal in what way? Maybe explain that a little bit.
Just like I wasn't exactly given an itinerary or you have to do this or else that. It was kind of just it was implied that I have to do my part and I just do it, right? So
Hmm.
never really told to do anything, to be completely honest, but. Um,
Really?
yeah, yeah. I mean, like, they're not gonna tell me, "Hey, go take out the trash." I just go take out the trash. They're not gonna tell me, "Hey, clean your room." I just clean my room. So it's again, it's another lead by example type of outcome.
At what age did that start? Because that does not sound like the typical American teenager to me.
Uh, Man, I mean, I wouldn't be able to pinpoint. I mean, I would say I took a more substantial step in maturing maybe around 16, 17. So not very long ago. Not very long ago.
Was there something that happened that maybe forced you to take that step, or it just kind of happened naturally?
I mean, kind of just happened naturally, I guess. I mean, I've always surrounded myself with good people, so I feel like
Mm.
that's played a huge factor. And again, I mean, I'm a big believer in leading by example. And I mean, not only leading, but learning by example. So being on the back end of that. So surrounding yourself with good people, it's gonna, yield a high outcome.
What did your parents do for jobs? Did both of them work then?
My mom has, kind of been an on and off real estate agent for
Mm.
long as I can remember, but for the most part, not exactly. And then my dad is a project manager for a fire protection company.
Mm.
So he's, in the construction industry, but, very, very median jobs. I mean, nothing, I wasn't born in a mansion. But I'm also very blessed to, have what they've given me for sure.
Your mom didn't force you to become a real estate
No, no,
person?
not at all. Not at all. It's, if anything, she tried to tell me not to do it. But
Oh, really?
yeah, but I mean, you can't take me away from it, dude. You got to drag me.
Wow, okay. So you love real estate.
I love it. I go to sleep at night thinking about it. I wake up thinking about it. It's all my brain runs on.
Why?
Dude, I don't think there's a more bulletproof industry. I mean, if you line them all up against each other, it's the most proven industry out of all. I'm not 100% sure, but I want to say it's close to about 86% of millionaires were made from real estate.
Mm.
I mean that itself. I mean, you can't lie about that number. That's going to tell a story. You can't manipulate that number. I mean,
Yeah.
so I don't think there's a better place to be.
Did your parents ever suggest that you go to college? Because obviously you're 18 years old. You're not going to college. You told me that in Vegas. I'm
Correct.
correct. Okay. Was there ever like, you know what, Austin, you should go to college. You should go learn about this, or you should go learn about that. You should major in this and start in this industry. Was there ever that discussion?
It was more than a discussion. It was kind of a blowout. Not even kind of. It was a blowout. Several times. Not a single person in my whole family told me not to go to school or agreed with not going to school. So I'm
Really?
I'm right now I'm at the turning point where it's like it's make or break, right? I mean, if you can prove you don't need it, then you can prove it. If not, then they're all right. So it's at an interesting point right now. But I dude, nobody can shake the vision I have, so no matter what anybody tries to tell me, you need to go to school, you need this degree for that. I never want to work a conventional job. So if you
Mm.
want to work a conventional job, of course, try to get the highest degree you can, climb the corporate ladder. And there's nothing wrong with that. I have several friends and, uncles and things like that are doing incredible working a corporate job. But for me personally, doesn't fit my vision exactly. So there's definitely been some blowouts over it, I will say. Um, Yeah, and it's ongoing still,
Oh,
regardless.
really? Really?
Regardless, it doesn't matter. Still go. Even if even if I own $1 billion in real estate, it'll still. You should have went to college. You would have owned 2 billion. It's it'll never end. So I've come to accept those terms, and it is what it is, man. You know.
Yeah.
So
So, just from the previous conversation that we had uh, about like your family, your parents, sound like you had like a lot of respect for them and stuff like that. Has that relationship changed at all? You know, since you don't go to college and since you decided, hey, I'm going to go do my own thing here.
no, it hasn't changed at all. I mean, I understand it from their standpoint. I mean, you know, if I had a son and he, doesn't want to go to school because he wants to pursue X, dude, the outcome better be really, really, really good. And you're taking a risk. And I mean, me personally, if my son said that to me, I'd tell him, go ahead, you're not going to school. But that's just me. So I get it. It's not. It's definitely not a traditional path at all, and it's a huge risk. It's not time that you can get back. But I see it in the complete opposite way. Like, this is valuable time. I see it as a waste. I'll just tell it, flat out. I see it as a pure waste for my industry.
Hmm.
Uh, you know, Joining a frat, partying, I see it as a waste. So they see it not going to school as a waste. So we're on two polar opposite ends of the stick. But it's my life, man, and they're gonna have to accept that at some point. So
You didn't get kicked out of the house or anything?
I'm moving out anyways, brother. I'm moving out on. I have my new place. I signed it. I'm moving in 1 month. So I beat them to it.
You bought your own house or you're renting?
No, I'm renting. I'm renting an apartment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, you talked about like your vision, right? And um, I would say, I would say when I talk to, I have a brother that's actually going to turn 18 tomorrow. But like, I look
Okay.
at him and it's like, what is his vision? I don't even know if he knows. Like, I don't know his vision. I don't know what he wants, right?
Right.
How does somebody that's 18 years old come up with a vision? A clear, it sounds like to me, it's not just a vision, right? Like, young people are full of ideas, but like you are so clear on your vision, you're like, I don't care. Um, I don't care about all of these people that are telling me to go to school. I don't care that, I'm not having a good time. I'm not partying like all of my friends are. I'm not going to college. I'm not doing all that. I don't care because I have a vision and I know exactly what I'm trying to do with my life.
Right.
How does somebody come up with that by 18 years old?
I mean, it's definitely a very pivotal step for sure. Um, I mean, because I'll be completely honest. I mean, it's you view it as a timeline. Okay, so some people will start something or start brainstorming at
Hmm.
23, say, and then by the time they're 25, it's in practice and they're getting better. Then by 28, they may be doing really well. So
Hmm.
for me, I started thinking about it at probably 13. So when you look at the timeline, it's the same as when the 23-year-old went to 28, except for me, it was 13 to 18. And so I'll be honest, it was a whole lot of procrastination and just laying in bed thinking about it for years. And slowly over time, I started, trying things out. And with real estate, dude, I mean, it's the most cliche thing ever. And I was talking to my partner last night till 4 o'clock in the morning. I mean, it never ends. And it never hit me seriously until last night, conveniently. And I was just like, dude, everybody talks about failing and falling on your face and falling on your ass and just fail, 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 fail. and I didn't even realize I was failing until yesterday. Like all those months leading up to, and by no means am I, a millionaire, but I've made, strides in the last couple of months for sure. I mean, when you look back at a year ago, it was nothing but picking up, hey, John, how you doing today? Hang up. Hey, Mike, how are, hang up. Hey, Susan, this is hang up. And it shook me for sure. I would go for weeks with it, just thinking like, dude, I'm going on Indeed looking for jobs. Seriously, I mean, I was really, really close to giving up, and stuck it out, and we're doing a lot better now. But everybody says that, and it never registered until recently, when I look back and go, oh, that's what everyone was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The fail, the constant rejection, the constant like, dude, this isn't gonna work, man. This is just I'm doing all this and it's not yielding any outcome. I mean, what am I even doing? Just go apply somewhere. And I mean, it's working out. It took a long time, but it's it's finally starting to click, and it feels great. It's the best feeling in the world. And so that's what I would tell somebody else my age. It takes taking action. I mean, you can think about it as long as you want. You got to take the first step, and then you got to take step two, three, and four. I mean, it's a difficult thing, but you got to get over the hump. I mean, that's what I had to do. Get over that initial hump, and then it was relatively smooth sailing from there.
Hmm. What do you think is the difference between you and all the people that are trying to help you?
I mean, it's they're looking for the perfect time to start. I mean, that's what I mean. A lot of these guys are, oh, you know what? I'm gonna wait till I'm 18. I'm gonna wait till I'm 18 till
Mm.
I can actually sign a contract. Dude, I see it as I'm gonna go find my friend who's 19 and have him sign for me. I don't care if I'm 16. I have a buddy who's 18 or 19. He's gonna sign for me. It's gonna hit his bank account, and we're gonna split it. Like that's the difference. Is like, oh, I'll wait till I'm 18, and then I'll start researching. Dude, there's never going to be a perfect day. It's never going to be, January 1st and you're like, today's the day. No. You got to start on the random Tuesday at 4 p.m. It has to be just, you got to just do it. You have to do it. There's never going to be a perfect time. And that's what I think the key separator is that everybody thinks there's going to be one day where it's like, oh man, today's the day. No, dude. It's right now. It's right now, and they think you got to have all your ducks in line before you make the first call. I got to know every single possible over what's it called when you have a sales objection uh, and you overcome it. Damn, what's the word? Anyways, I got to be able to overcome every objection. I got to know everything about the business. Dude, I didn't know anything, and I was calling multi-million dollar portfolio holders, and it's like my voice is cracking. I sound like an idiot. Dude, you know what I mean? Like that's not ideally the perfect time. Like I could have said, yeah, I'll wait till I'm 22 and my voice is deeper and I understand more. No, dude, I would get laughed at on the phone. I didn't care, and that's what it comes down to. Like everybody's too scared to get laughed at or get hung up on. Dude, it never fazed me at all. I mean, that's another, key difference. I mean, everyone waits for the perfect time. There's never going to be a perfect time. That's been one of the biggest realizations for me.
Uh, um, so you're calling multi-million dollar uh,
Absolutely.
portfolio companies. Your voice is cracking. How old are you at this point?
17. I mean, my voice still cracks. I'm sure some of the viewers have caught it a few times, but I mean, I would call guys that live around here or live in Los Angeles. I mean, I
Mm.
talked to a guy a few months ago who had a house up in Bel Air in LA, and he wanted like 4 million bucks for it. And we looked at the rehab costs, and maybe put in about 5 million, and after that it's worth upwards of 22.
Mm.
So, great deal. And I had to call him, this, older gentleman. He says that he has properties all over the country. Guy's worth upwards of 9 figures easily. I mean, if you're talking about LA. Um, and my voice is cracking. Hey, John, how are you today? I have a proposal for you. It's just like this guy could have just, you know, I mean, laughed at me, and the reality is he probably did. I mean, he obviously kept me around for a couple more phone calls, and we're actually still working on it to this day. It's a
Hmm.
big project, so, but I mean, he could identify. This is obviously a young kid, and I mean, I had my cards in line. I knew what I was talking about at that point. So hey, if I can get him what he wants for the house, I mean, he doesn't care if I'm five, you know.
Yeah.
Again, it's not waiting for the perfect time. I think that's a big factor,
Were you always doing real estate, or did you try other stuff?
dude. Think of any possible business that you can start. I guarantee I've done it.
Drop shipping.
Every single, oh yeah, oh yeah. And actually, drop shipping worked out pretty well for me. Like at
Did it?
16, 17, yeah, it really did. It really did. I would just resell a whole bunch of stuff, but I didn't drop ship through Shopify or Alibaba or like everybody else did. I just did it like realistically in person through Instagram.
Mm.
I would find a guy selling, I don't know, 1,000 hoodies, and he would want maybe $100 each for them. And then I would screenshot the guy's story, post it on mine, build up a decent size account, and post it on mine for $150 each. And then when they would pay me, I would take the $1,000 and go pay that guy, have him shipped to them, and then I kept the difference from doing nothing, holding no inventory, taking on zero risk. Now, granted, you have to know the guy that has them,
Mm.
because if you don't, he could just take your money, and now you're liable with the buyer. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I mean, I've done that. I've done, dude. Let me see if I could find one of my business cards. I
This is
doubt
so good. This is
I
so
doubt I
good.
could find it, dude. I would go. I used to clean windows. I used to clean houses, siding, roofs, everything, solar panels. I would go to the Denny's down the street, ask for the owner. Hey, how you doing? My name's Austin. It's good to meet you. Hey, I noticed that your windows are a little bit dirty. Would you be opposed to hearing a price and I can come, bi-weekly? Dude, I didn't get a single contract. I went to probably 50 places. And, it's but that was what it is. And I did pretty well doing that. I would clean homes door to door. I mean, anything you can think of, man. Anything you could think of. Um, so
So all this time you're trying all these different things. It sounds like I guess correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you're just failing at a pretty good pace. Like, yeah, you were having some success, you're making some money here and there, but like you're just failing here, failing there. I didn't get Denny's contract. I didn't get that contract. I didn't get 50 different contracts, but
yeah,
like you just kept going. Like
absolutely.
what made you finally decide on real estate then? Like was there somebody that like spoke into your life, or is there somebody that you saw online? Did you take a class on it? Talk about that.
There's definitely a few guys that, that I learned from online. I pay to be in their groups. I see them more as mentors. I've never paid, 1,000 bucks plus for like one-on-ones or anything like that, which I know a lot of people who have, and they've gotten good things out of it. But there's a guy named Richard Taylor.
Hmm.
He's about 22 years old, and I mean, before I got on this podcast, dude, I was talking to my partner because both of us know him. We're both paying to be in his group. We did the numbers on this guy. he's 22 years old and he's making upwards of $15 million a year. We
Dang.
mapped out all his numbers. And I mean, he doesn't show any of his bank statements. He doesn't show the car he drives. He doesn't show the house he lives in. And he has a very cheap, he charges $20 a month to be in his group.
Hmm.
And we look at it, there's 80,000 people in the group paying $20 a month. It's $1.6 million a month just from that.
Wow.
And now we factored in, okay, he has to split that up. He's got to pay his worker. We did everything. Guy makes minimum $15 million a year at 22. And he does what we do. Besides, he sells a course too, which helps, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he does what we do. He finds properties, he gets them discounted off market, and then he flips them at market value to an investor. And he'll close 30, 40 deals a month doing that. He has a
A
system in
month.
a month. Yes. He live streams every day. And honestly, 30, 40 is very conservative because he live streams every day, closes two, three, four just on the live stream alone. And he has a software in place that students can go in, they'll find an address, they'll plug it in, and basically, if it fits his criteria in the software, he'll agree to partner with them, and he'll get the buyer, and then he'll actually give them 60% of the deal as a courtesy. He keeps 40%. So he has everybody working for him, finding properties for him, and he just has a laundry list of buyers that the software automatically sells to them because they have their predisposed criteria. And so if it automatically fits the criteria, they just buy it. And easily 50, 60 deals, to be completely honest, in a month. Um, so you couple that with the properties that he's bought personally, along with the membership. I mean, dude, we did it a few times over. I mean, talk about killing it, man. I mean, at 22 years old, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. I'll be honest.
So, did you see like what was his name again?
Richard Taylor.
Richard Taylor. Did you see people like Richard online and you're like, that's what I want to be. That's what I want to do.
You know what? I saw a lot of guys that did the usual, flaunt the Rolls Royce and the big
Mm.
penthouse and the yacht in Miami and all that. He was the only guy that just seemed very down to earth and like he genuinely wanted to teach people. And I think he does, if my judgment serves. And
Mm.
I came across him on TikTok. I probably watched 20 seconds and scrolled, whatever. And then maybe a couple days later, he came up again. And then I watched 30 seconds and scrolled, okay. Comes up next week. Same guy. Okay. Let me look at his profile. I go through, probably sat there for 5 hours just watching every single video. And I'm like, oh shit, this is the industry. Not many people are involved. I talk to older people that are in real estate. They don't even know what it is. It tells that to me, it's a good sign. It tells me it's very unsaturated and it's very new. It's a new way of
Mm.
conducting real estate. And I mean, dude, I was sold completely. I've never been sold on anything more. Just seeing how he does his deals and the type of person you need to be in the industry, I felt like aligned with me perfectly. Got
Mm.
to be able to talk, got to be a people person, pretty decent at, running numbers, have a good memory, understand, okay, that market pays this much in rent. Like, dude, I could think of markets and know exactly what the county is going to pay in Section 8 rent just from going all over and over and over again. I mean, like, I'll go, okay, Jefferson County in Alabama, if there's a three-bedroom house, they're paying 1503. Like, repetition over and over and over. That's what I do. I remember things like that. So I'm like, dude, I'm sold. This is for me. I'm gonna just go all in. I'm gonna make calls. I'm gonna sound like a dumbass. I'm gonna, you know, tell these guys that my voice is gonna crack and it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna stutter. I'm gonna mess up my words. I'm gonna sound dumb. I'm gonna get laughed at. It is what it is, man. Eventually, after the 50th, 100th call, I'll get the hang of it. And you embrace that at the beginning, and that's what can really help you to move forward. Um, yeah, so
Did you write that on your whiteboard at the beginning? The goal for today. Sound like a dumbass.
sound like moron.
Yeah. Well,
17, like,
maybe that's what the 17-year-olds need to do though. Is like
hey,
just set that goal. You know
why
what?
not?
I want to go look like a fool today.
Yeah, yeah, why not? Nobody will tell you that, will they? I mean,
No.
why not?
I mean, I would see probably people giving that advice as far as like, "Oh, let's film a prank for TikTok or something like that." We get
Right.
we but this is my advice. People don't have to listen to it, but like we have enough of that already, right? Maybe go
Yeah,
try to be maybe go try to do something constructive with
right,
looking like a fool.
right.
All right. So, I want to dive a little bit more into what your day looks like now. Um, what do you do when do you wake up in the morning?
I mean, it fluctuates, man. I mean, it depends, what we have to do. Everything that we do is in the Midwest, so I'm 3 hours behind, which means I need to
Mm,
wake up 3 hours earlier. And I'm okay with that. It comes with it. Um, but I mean, to be completely honest with you, for the most part, I'm on my own timeline. I mean, I don't really have to get up. I mean, of course,
yeah.
there's people that rely on me, and I get missed calls or whatever, and I have to be up to answer that.
Mm,
But I don't wake up at a set time every day. I would say on average it's probably 7 or 8 o'clock. I mean,
okay.
get up, get on the phones, start doing my work, and I rarely leave the house, rarely leave this desk. I'll go, go play golf sometimes. Like after this, I'll probably go play 9 holes and then come back and do it again.
Yeah.
See, there's the voice crack. You guys got it.
Yeah, yeah, I heard that one. Do you
Yeah.
work out? Exercise at all?
Actually, I did. I went on a really good streak and then I canceled my membership because I'm moving. So it's been
Mm,
about a couple of weeks, but I plan to get back into it. I think it's very important. Keeping your health and fitness in order, I think, benefits you to an extent that people don't even realize. And that's a whole nother thing we could get into. I
yeah.
mean, so,
What about diet? You eating junk food or you healthy?
dude, I eat the best diet that you could think of. I'll be totally honest. And that wasn't until a few months ago. And I've
Mm,
noticed a complete dramatic change in my entire life. I mean, I don't eat any processed foods. I eat very clean, one single ingredients. I pay a little bit more for my groceries because I mean, people will go out and spend a bunch of money at the club and on drinks. I mean, I spend it on high quality food. And
mm,
it's, dude, my mental clarity is perfect. I wake up pretty routinely. I get great sleep. I'm full of energy. I don't take naps anymore. I'll be up, sleep 6 hours, and I'll be up through the whole day. Life, like I could go run a marathon right now. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's dramatic. It seriously is dramatic.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
Um, I want to talk about distractions a little bit because when you would when I think of like an 18-year-old or a teenager, American teenager, I'm thinking, you know, okay, so just a little context here. Like I taught school at a private school. I think it's been probably about 4 years ago. Okay, and I substitute still here and there, but like I look at the teenagers now and like it makes me feel so old because like the way that they communicate is so weird to me. Like it's all in memes and video games and stuff like that. Like that is where their communication comes from now. And
Yeah.
so like that's what I think about when I think about an American teenager, right? So,
Okay.
I would like to talk a little bit about your distractions or if you have any. Do you have any hobbies? I guess you said you do golf. Do you do anything else besides that?
Um, you know what? I like just being in nature. I'm not
Mm,
a hippie. I'm not a, nature freak, but I like just being, I like being in the sun. I like being in the water, you know. I like rocks. I like
mm,
reptile. Like I just like being with the earth. And that sounds weird, man, but I promise you it's not. I swear. Um, I like, I go on hikes occasionally. I like, waterfalls, things like that. There's quite a few of them here.
yeah,
So that's what I do besides the occasional LA Fitness pickup game or the, 9 holes at the golf course. But dude, my life is work, and after work, I work. So it's very, very
nice.
little time.
What does your relationship with social media look like? I know you mentioned TikTok before, but like today or this week or this month, what did
Uh,
what does your relationship with social media look like?
I'll be honest. I mean, I think that social media is probably the most powerful tool that's ever grazed mankind. And I'm
Mm,
kind of a fool to not have been taking advantage of it. In full honesty, I should have been creating content for the last year, and I still haven't created a single bit of content. And I plan on it, and I have friends who create content and they do well, and it's helped scale their business. I mean, for me, I don't like filming myself or setting up a camera. And that's another, hump that I'm going to need to get over at some point. Cause I mean, it's like, what do you value more? You value people making fun of you, or do you value 10xing your business? I mean, it's a no
mm,
brainer to me. Um,
yeah,
so, I think social media as a whole is a great tool. Your algorithm obviously is based on what you put into it. So for me, I mean, it's all it's all business related. I mean, my For You page is all real estate related stuff. I mean, there's no, ice spice and stuff like that. It's just real estate.
you're not dancing on TikTok. That's good.
No,
That's good.
I don't typically get the dance videos on my feed.
So, how much time would you say you spend on social media every day?
Uh, I mean, not much, not much. I use it to kind of wind down at the end of the day
Mm,
because I mean it. Like I told you, that 3 hour time difference, it
yeah,
actually works in my favor towards the end of the day because it's 5 o'clock for me, but over there everybody's off. It's 8 p.m. So
yeah.
that's when I get time to kind of wind down a little bit, and that's I'll probably maybe 3 hours total a day, if that, maybe two.
All right. Do you play
Yeah.
any video games?
I don't. I don't actually.
Did you
And
growing up?
not exactly. No. I mean, I've had an Xbox, but I was never a gamer, to be honest. I never just wasn't really my thing.
Okay. Doesn't sound like you party.
I'm not going to be one of those guys that tries to make up a bunch of lies and says, "Oh, dude, I don't go to anything." But I will say, I do not like going to parties. I don't like the scene. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do any of that. A lot of my friends do. Whatever, it's cool for them. It doesn't. It's not something that really interests me, and that seems kind of goody two shoes and just gross. But it's the reality. I like business settings. Like I like going to high end parties and networking with people.
Mm,
I'll do that. I don't care about that. I mean, I just don't like the degeneracy of getting sloppy and throwing up all over the place. And there's another voice crack number two. You guys got to tally it up at the end of the pod. No,
uh,
but yeah, I don't like the party scene in general. But I do like networking. I love meeting people. So that's a party that I would go to.
that's a whole skill in itself though. Because like I don't know, if you go on like LinkedIn or any of these places where people talk about networking, it's usually in a negative context because everybody's like, "Oh, my anxiety," and "Oh, I don't know what to say," or all of that. Like, did you just always know how to network, or did you have to learn that, or like how does somebody enjoy networking, I guess?
Um, yeah, I'll be honest, man. I mean, you can try to teach somebody how to network. You can try to teach them how to sell. I think it's something that, God gives you when you're born. I'll
Hmm.
be honest. I mean, of course, you can take classes and really try, and it may work. It may work very well. For me, I haven't done anything. I'll be honest. I've taken no networking notes or sales notes or anything. That's just me. It's how I am. I love meeting people like you. You know, met you at what, in an elevator? Like
Yeah.
that's the most random thing, and that's not uncommon for me. Like later on that day, actually, I'm sure some of the viewers will know, but there's a player for the Celtics, JD Davison. He
Hmm.
just signed last year. He's a newer guy. I used to watch him in high school. I was a big fan of his, mixtapes and everything like that. Saw him playing blackjack. I went, sat down with him, started talking. Hey man, are you JD? Hey, I used to watch you at Calhoun High School. He went, oh, what's going on, man? And we started talking. And it's stuff like that, and I would regret it not going up and talking to him. It would sit with me not well at the end of the day. So sure, it's intimidating going up to a Celtics player, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, dude, everybody puts their shoes on, everyone gets dressed in the morning, everyone eats breakfast. We're all people, man. I mean, it's you can have that mental block or you can just regret it later. Um,
Yeah.
so um, yeah, I mean, that was actually a pretty good example of networking. Like literally the same day I met you, went down, met that guy, started talking. Now I'm gonna call him after this because he's looking to purchase his first investment property. So
No
that could,
way.
yeah, yeah, seriously. And the market that we are in, Birmingham, Alabama, that's where he's from, or he's from like an area nearby. I think he's from Montgomery. But dude, that's our market. We have so much stuff going on out there. So I told him, and I told my partner actually. This is a funnier story. I told my partner about him, and his stepdad he owns a few restaurants in Montgomery, and JD Davison's girlfriend, who was there that I also met and talked to, she works for his stepdad.
No
So
way.
it's such a small world. So when I told Horace, my partner, he uh he went and just casually told his stepdad, like, "Oh yeah, my partner was in Vegas at the Mandalay, and he talked to JD Davison. Do you know who that is?" And he went, "Yeah, his girlfriend works for me. That explains why she hasn't been at work for the last week. She's over in Vegas." And so, it's just such a small world, man. And that was pretty cool. So my partner's stepdad actually is his girlfriend's employer. And he's like, yeah, JD comes in and drops her off all the time at work. I see him pretty often, like almost every day.
Hmm.
And so, I mean, it's a small world, man. But that's the power of networking. Imagine if I just never went up to him. I mean, never would have happened. Now
Yeah.
it's potential for the door to be open. Like, say he buys a property and locker room talk. Hey, man, I just bought a property
Mm.
over in Montgomery. Jason Tatum, what'd you say? You bought a property where? Who got you into that? Oh, we're in business now, right?
Oh yeah.
So that's how I saw it when I went up to him. I mean,
Hmm.
so hey, networking is just something you got to overcome. Going up to people, I think.
Boy, if you could tap into the NBA market, I know there's some pretty big contracts in there.
Oh man. And it's not, a lot of people would see that as like a lot of people, if given that opportunity, would try to take advantage of these guys because of how much money
Yeah.
they have and maybe they're not too knowledgeable. For me, dude, I seriously, wholeheartedly know that I could help these guys build wealth for the rest of their life. Because a lot of
Mm,
NBA guys are going to get the, couple $1 million contract. Maybe they get hurt or maybe they get bumped down and now they're done. A lot of them don't have any money after that.
yeah.
But if they would have just bought 10 single family homes with that, 100 grand, you could get 10 single family homes in down payments. They'll have residual income of upwards of $7,000, $8,000 for the rest of their life. You
Mm,
couple that with refinancing your homes or even selling if needed and reinvesting. I mean, you're set, you're good, you're okay. Even if you get injured and you're done. So I seriously think, if I had the avenue to do it, I could help all of these guys, every single one of them, and they'd be set for life. They would have generational wealth forever.
mm.
So, you know,
Fascinating. I want to just emphasize a point there that was kind of brought up, but I just want to say it out loud, and that is like you are only like one conversation away from finding success at any given point. And that's why you have to keep calling people. You have to keep stepping out. You have to like give up on your like, oh, what if I stutter or what if my voice cracks in front of this Celtics player? Like you got to forget all of that and just go have that conversation.
right, right. 100%. 100%. And I mean, especially with him, I used to play basketball my whole life, so that's
Mm,
something that I could relate to him with. And
yeah.
anytime I meet a new person, I think my biggest gift is being able to not only match their cadence, but identify like what type of person is this and then match them.
Mm,
So now we relate. Now all of a sudden we grew up in the same city together and we're talking about that.
yeah.
So that's what I do really well. I think that's what helps me out. To him, it was basketball. That's what we had in common. We both that's what we talked about. I'll tell him about his teammates or oh that one clip last week of that guy getting dunked on, and now we have a good laugh. Now we talk about real estate. You know,
Mm,
and
yeah.
that's the bottom line when it comes to meeting new people for sure.
So we're about at the end of our time here, but I just want to ask like what could older people, will say, let's say from like 25 on up, what could they do to help more teenagers have a vision like you or be motivated to go out and start doing real estate or start doing something that's going to create generational wealth like you were talking about? What could we do to help the younger people, teenagers, get that vision in their head?
You know what? I'll be honest when I say that. It's not entrepreneurship is not for everyone. It's there definitely still needs to be doctors in the world.
Mm,
There needs to be teachers in the world. It's not something that everybody can get accustomed to. It's not something everyone's cut out for, to be completely honest. But the kids who are, I mean, I think it starts with the school system. I really do. I think that all of it is set up in order to train you into being an employee. Uh, just being completely honest. I mean, you look at every single factor of it, from the time that the class starts, there's a ring of a bell. And then when the class ends, there's a ring of a bell. It conditions your mind to, clock in, clock out, clock in, clock out. And that'll carry with you unless you break the cycle in your mind. And for me, dude, I mean, school was just a total disaster. I mean, I probably had the worst.
really?
I had the worst grades in the entire school. Like, barely get by. And don't tell my teachers, but paying kids, having friends. Hey, I'll give you $100, dude. Just help me with my English. Do all my English work. Hey, man, here's $100. Do my math assignment. Just so I could graduate. I mean, like, I didn't pay a lick of attention. I was in my economics teacher. I would just give her a head nod and she would let me leave to take a call. Probably three, four, five calls in a class alone. and she just knew. And at some point, she was like, "Okay, dude, like you gotta at least be in the class for half of the time. Like you can't just be taking calls all day." And my teachers got accustomed to that, but that's what it is. I mean, dude, it starts with the school system. It starts with the school
Huh.
system. I mean, following the traditional path, you know, I'll be completely honest, and this might be a controversial take, but if I heard this from a very vetted real estate guy, and you know what? He said, don't take any advice from someone that you don't want to be like. And
Hmm.
that's where the controversy comes in because I loved all my teachers. They're all great people. But at the end of the day, are you a multi-million dollar real estate investor? Then I'm not, you're not going to have my full 8 hour attention. I'll just, my time is valuable, man. I'm not going to sit up here and listen to you talk about Shakespeare. I'm going to be on my computer looking on Zillow, looking for another house. And I got in trouble all the time for that. So, it's that's where it starts. It starts with school. Everybody's going to try to, oh man, I got straight A's this year. All right. I mean, I know plenty of people who graduated and from college with a $200,000 degree, and they're not doing anything with it.
Hmm.
And it's your life is what you make of it. So, it's that's a huge rabbit hole and it'll never end. It starts with the Rockefellers creating the school system, and today they still run the world, and it'll just never end, and I'll lose my mind over and over. So it's a very selective few people, and it's sad. I try to help as many people as I can. A lot of big investors try to help the younger generation, and 99% of them tell you don't go to school. The
Hmm.
education system's screwed. Why is that? There has to be a reason that almost everyone says that.
Yeah.
So start questioning things. Start questioning what you're being conditioned to think. I would say that's the biggest thing. And I learned that from a book. Start
Hmm.
questioning everything. Why am I here? Who is this? What is she teaching? Is she teaching correct information? Is this information valuable? Nobody even questions the first thing. They just sit there, okay, Shakespeare. Okay, all right, Gandhi. Yep, okay, Gandhi. Yeah, he did this in this year. What are you really doing? It's just an endless loop. You just sit there and absorb like useless facts, which half of them probably aren't even true, but you wouldn't know because you don't question it. You just,
Hmm.
oh, that's true. Okay, yes, sir. And that's eventually that you'll end up in not the best position like that. I'll be honest.
Was there anything or anybody in school that kind of like saw what you were doing, and was like, you know what, Austin, that's a great idea?
Do you mean teachers or like peers?
Either or, classes even. Like, was there anything that helped you, like your entrepreneurial spirit, like class wise?
It helped me in the inverse. It
Mm.
helped me realize that it wasn't for me. And I think I took a lot away from school, not in the way that people might think.
Hmm.
I didn't learn anything at all from the material, even my economics class. I mean, I'm not going to try to sit up here on a high horse and say, oh, but dude, a lot of the stuff that was taught was just completely flawed. And
Yeah.
I know that from listening to real economists that really have money and really understand tax codes and different bracket things like that. And it's totally I put it together from the jump that like, dude, this is what they're feeding through the school. This is how they want all the kids to think. I mean, who controls what we're taught? It's a couple of families that control what is taught in schools. And again, another rabbit hole. But my teachers, not a single one of them was like, "Oh man, that's really good, man. I'm proud of you." Nah, it's what are you doing? Get off your laptop. Why are you doing that? You can't be looking at. Dude, I had my forensic science teacher, and I don't like this guy at all. He would come over to me and say, "Hey, buddy. mind you, this is forensic science. Okay, is it? Really, this guy comes over to me constantly. I'll be on my computer. Everyone else is taking notes on whatever the hell. I couldn't tell you one thing from that class. Everyone's taking notes like a slave. Just okay, yes sir, yes sir. And I'm sitting there in the back on my computer, looking at deals, plugging them into calculator, doing the usual. And he would just come over to me nonstop. Hey man, let's put the computer away, all right? I'm just like, okay, close it, and then 2 minutes later, open it back up, keep working. And he would tell me seriously, he would go, "Hey man, I know you got this like silly little real estate thing going on, but you really gotta pay attention. This is valuable stuff." And I almost laughed. I'll be completely honest. I almost just laughed at him. And I've always respected everybody, so I respected him. I would put my computer away, but my brain didn't stop. I'd still be thinking about what was on my computer. But
Mm.
literally tell me to just quit the class. He's like, dude, just drop the class, dude. Like you have no interest, clearly. Just drop it. He's like, will your counselor not let you? I'll help you drop the class. I was just like, dude, like, if you say so, man. I mean, I mean, it's like, but really, I mean, he'd say, hey, man, I know you got this silly little real estate stuff going on. I went, oh,
Mm.
okay, all right. It's silly. Okay, nice, good to know. And that's that's just that's just what it is, and that's pretty common. I mean, from what I've heard,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. I had a mentor of mine just point that out. Like, everybody will pat you on the back and say, congratulations, not only did you finish high school, but now you've, spent 4 or 6 years in college and like, good job. And like they're $250,000 in debt. Good job. But then, maybe somebody wants to go get into real estate at 18 years old and they're like, I don't know. That's not a very good idea.
it's so backwards.
It is. Anyway, oh man, how much more time do you got?
I got all day.
Okay, just a little bit more. Maybe you can keep this short if you need to go golf. I don't want to keep you from your golf,
No,
but
no, good man. They run on my timeline. Don't worry.
nice, nice. Life of a boss. Um, so uh, you told me something in Vegas that intrigued me. I said, "Where did you get all the money to start real estate?" And you told me you don't need any money. Maybe explain that a little bit.
Yeah, you really don't, man. I mean, I had a little bit of money to start, and by a little bit, I mean like a couple $100 at the most.
Okay.
I would pay for unnecessary softwares, but
Mm.
again, dude, you don't need any money at all in the world. If you can find a good enough deal on a free website, and you can call up the owner and make them an offer, send them a contract, get them to sign at 50,000. And you can go on Facebook and post the criteria of the deal at 20K more, and somebody negotiates you 10K down. If you send them an assignment contract and they signed at 60K, when you submit them to the title company, you just made 10K out of thin air. Like
Mm.
where was money involved there? I mean, you tell me. There was none. Talking about two free websites, a website that I'm going to gatekeep and Facebook. Um, because hey, I'll be honest, this first website, I've had a few guys, I'll send them the deal. They go, "Hey, I found this on that website," and I go, "Oh man, gotta block them," but but there's a lot of free resources out there, and
Yeah.
uh, and the idea that you need money to start is just totally wrong. Now,
Yeah.
granted, if you have 10 G's and you want to employ it in a marketing system to where it just generates leads for you, like that's what we're about to do. We're going to spend a little bit on like an inbound marketing software. We know the guy that
Mm.
owns it pretty well, and just see what it does. But I mean, sure, any business, if you have money to start, it'll help. But you don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
You really don't. And I mean, that's what it is, dude. Zillow's free. If you have a phone, pick up the phone, make a call. I mean, it's not difficult. It's not difficult at all.
So
Um,
you say we. Maybe explain that a little bit. Are you in partnership with somebody?
I am. I am.
Mm,
For the most part. His name's Horace. He lives actually in Atlanta, and he's
mm,
been in the business for a little while. He's a lot older than me, so he teaches me a lot of stuff.
mm,
And I'm still getting the hang of underwriting contracts and legality and the technical things like that. I know how to talk on the phone. I know how to put a deal together, but
mm,
I still struggle a little bit with understanding different clauses in contracts and understanding, how to handle things that come up at the title company and things like that. I'm still getting around to that. But for the most part, me and this guy talk on the phone probably 5, 6 times a day, every
wow.
day. And I mean, we're just constantly, never ends, dude. Constantly. Hey, check this deal out. What do you think? That's not that good. Okay. Hey, look at this one. Okay, yeah, that might work. We're gonna have to get him down to X. It's gonna need this much. We're gonna see. Okay, you know what? I have a guy. Let me call him. Call the
Mm,
guy. Hang up. Hey, I just talked to the guy, and it constantly. And I'll look down, and it's 8 o'clock at night, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even eat. Like, it's like it's it just never ends. And we
yeah.
love it, dude. We love it. We love it. It consumes our whole mind. And,
Mm,
you get the proof of concept, you close the first couple of deals, and it's like, "Oh, okay. I can really do this."
yeah.
And it's all we do, dude, all day long. It's all I think about. I'll be on the golf course. I'll have to take a call in the middle of my swing. It's like, but I love it. I love it. Some people will look at that and go, "Oh, dude, that guy, he's never off the phone, man. All he does is work." Dude, I love working. I embrace it. It's the best. I wouldn't trade it for anything. And that's
Yeah.
another key separator. A lot of people just want, you work too much, man. That doesn't seem very fun. Dude, I wouldn't trade it for the world, man. I love it.
Would you say like getting a partner in business like that has really like helped your success, or
Yeah.
you don't necessarily think that's necessary?
Oh yeah. I mean, I would say starting out, I would say it is necessary, to be
Mm,
honest. I mean, not 100% necessary. Of course, you could do it on your own. But starting out with a guy who's already been doing it, and if you can bring enough value to him to where it's not like you're begging him for help. I
yeah.
mean, like, for example, if I could find a good enough deal and bring it to a vetted wholesaler who's very experienced and say, hey, man, I'll let you keep half of the deal if you just help me sign this contract. That's how you get your foot in the door with someone. And from there, I
Yeah.
mean, I met Horace on Facebook, dude. I posted a property and he commented on it. And we've been talking for 8 months, dude, like just nonstop every day. And
Wow.
it's super random. I've never had another partner like that. I get easily 100+ messages a day from Facebook. And he was the one guy that we really clicked and we work well together. Any
Mm,
hole that he has in his game, I fill it. Any hole I have in my game, he fills it.
yeah.
So we work really well. I think it's been a super key factor to our success is, having a partnership for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all of the interview that I have. Dude, it's been great. I cannot wait to see where you go, where you end up. I'm just
Thank
glad I
you.
get to see and meet you at this stage before you go international. But I
Thank you.
have like 6 rapid fire questions that I ask
Oh,
to
geez.
everybody at the
Oh,
end of every interview. So,
okay.
you ready?
Yeah, yeah, let's go.
And these are very, very lighthearted. Like, we're not talking serious here.
Okay.
So, what is your go to snack slash drink combination at a gas station?
Man. I
Nothing processed.
Nothing processed. Maybe an orange juice and if I'm being bad, probably like a donut.
Mm,
Probably a
all
donut.
right. We going maple bar? We going Bavarian cream?
Probably
What are
just
we doing?
glaze. I'm a
Just glaze.
glaze guy. Yeah.
Nice. All right. would you consider Honey Nut Cheerios breakfast soup?
Probably. Probably. Yeah.
All right. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Absolutely.
I love it. I love
Absolutely.
it. In your opinion, who's the greatest music artist of all time?
Oh man. Michael Jackson.
There we go. What is something that most people don't know about you?
I have a size 15 shoe.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah.
So you're good at hiding your age and your shoe
There,
size.
there you go. Yeah.
All right, last question here. If you could have dinner with anyone from history, all the way up to the present day, who would it be?
Mm, I'm not gonna say who I really would. I'll have dinner with
Come
Drake.
on,
I'll
Drake.
have dinner with
Okay.
Drake. Yeah.
All righty. Well, thank you so much for this interview, Austin. But yeah, we'll keep in touch, and maybe we can do this again once you hit the $1 million mark.
Okay. Absolutely, man.
Unless you already have.
No, no, not there yet. Almost.
All right. All right. Thanks for the interview.
Okay, man. We'll talk soon.
Thanks to everybody that watched all the way to the end. If you liked what you saw here, subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram or TikTok. And remember, go out there and mind your own business.